Morning Shot.
Welcome to Morning Shot. Look within yourself and don't compare with others. That's the message that Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is sending out to youths in a bid to urge them to follow their own talents when deciding which career paths to take. Mr. Wong has also stressed that the government will provide more opportunities for Singaporeans to pursue their diverse aspirations and their own definitions of success. So just how ready are younger generations in pursuing their dreams, and what kind of support do they need? For more insights on this, we're joined by Jason Tan, Associate Professor from the National Institute of Education's Policy, Curriculum and Leadership Department. Good morning and welcome to Money FM, Jason.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have you. And we also have with us Sophia Ng, co-founder of Kidztropic Singapore, which provides indoor play spaces made to provide fun and educational learning for children up to 6 years old. Sophia, thanks for being part of the conversation on The Breakfast Show.
Good morning, kiddos.
Good morning. Love it. Great to have you both on today. Let's start with you, Jason, with what you make of PM Wong's statements. One area that he mentioned was to create more options and diverse career paths for students who want to pursue so-called less conventional career paths like digital content creation. So when we talk about opportunities to pursue those aspirations, what do you think is needed and what are our younger generation seeking in terms of support there?
Right. As Emaad was saying a few minutes ago, it can't be all that easy for young people to be making these sorts of big decisions about career paths. And therefore, it's important, I think, that young people make informed choices. What does that mean? Well, first of all, do they have a comprehensive knowledge of the various possibilities out there? Do they have knowledge about themselves, their own talents, their own shortcomings? Next, how do they go about evaluating the various options? And of course, before arriving at some sort of a decision. Not everybody, of course, has those sorts of opportunities to even find out about their own talents.
Yes.
Sometimes, of course, our talents are latent. We don't even know we have such talents until somebody comes along and gives us those sorts of opportunities. How do young people even find out about career options in a very rapidly changing workplace environment? Do they have the motivation and the self-confidence to try and pursue those options? And what will their parents and peers think of their choices? So these are some of the very big questions, I think, that young people have to confront.
Yeah, that's great points that you just made. But let's take a step back and bring Sophia into the conversation. Sophia, you started Kidztropic just last year, right?
Yep.
That's something I think many Singaporeans would say is a very brave move, kind of like a leap of faith, right? Like starting your own entrepreneurial journey. It can be quite daunting. So what would you say are some of the factors that are possibly kind of scaring our younger generation off, turning their interest into a career?
Thank you. I think I'm still scared right now, a year in. I left a corporate job after a decade in. And I guess speaking from my own experience and writing on what Prof. Jason just said, it's really a lot based on what we perceive as success, how we define success. And of course, there's a practical part about, Singapore is not cheap to live in. And you would think about financial stability. So I think that's what is on what our youth's mind when they are thinking about pursuing their passions as a career. They also think about, the fear of failure. I think that's true for every generation, like how you'll be perceived by your peers, your parents, and also the norm of how success has been defined by, you should be in a professional job. So your identity is very much tied to, I'm a marketing manager.
Yes, yes.
So that's I guess, what holds a lot of people back. Because when I left my job, I was like, okay, so how do I introduce myself right now? Yeah.
Did you have to explain yourself when you decided to take that leap and leave your corporate job? Did you have to, not explain, but kind of like tell your parents, tell your peers, why you're doing this?
Yeah, well, I had to. And I think the biggest person I had to explain it to was myself, because I was so much in the corporate side, and it was a hard decision to leave a job that I also still love. And why did I do this? So it has to be a constant reminder of my purpose in starting my business.
Yeah. So actually, our influences start from very young, right, Sophia? And now you're working very closely with young children and their parents. So what would you say are the common concerns often seen in parents of young children when it comes to, building their creativity and challenges faced by educators in rewiring the mindsets of parents?
Take, for example, my business, Kidztropic. We are not a preschool. We are not an enrichment center. So very often parents see us as non-essential. So a lot of customers who are parents, our consumers are the kids, obviously, and they have shared a lot of concerns like, they have guilt whether they come to our playground or not. So they're like, oh, should I let my kid just play that much? Should I be sending my preschooler to more enrichment programs so that they
Yeah.
can be ahead? What if they can't write yet, write well enough? Do they need to spell? Should I send them for like math classes? So I get a lot of this, and I think what we are trying to do is to help the parents understand that play-based learning can be also beneficial to the child. So it doesn't have to be an enrichment to be good at academic. So play-based learning can range, in our opinion, from structured. So we do gamification or at workshops. We facilitate what we call pretend play, which is bring in the real life for the child. And you know what? Just let your child play. That's unstructured. And we found that, at least for myself and my child, I found that was really what contributes to imagination and creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, from the educator's point of view, we do come across educators, mostly preschools, because of our age segment. We talk to them, and we ask them when they come to our place for preschool learning journeys. Like, what do you face when parents ask you? Do you face any rejections for excursions? A lot of them shared like parents are still very much concerned with academic. So they during Meet the Parent session, most of the questions asked were, can my kid, how much of the alphabet? This is preschool. Can they write? How is their Mandarin? Are they able to recognize their characters? So we get a lot of educators telling them that. And to top it off, they really want to bring their kid out for learning. And it's not just back to the classroom. It's also a little bit for the child to unwind.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of feedback from parents. Oh, why are you bringing my child to an indoor play space? Why are you bringing them to Kidztropic? And they are like, what are they going to do there? So there is a lot of still resistance. And I think it's important to help them understand, like, so play-based learning, they come here, structured workshop. But after that, it's also time to let them, be themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a parent, I do resonate with what you've shared and the concerns that some parents have as well. So, Jason, we'd like to hear you weigh in on this. Do parents' mindsets eventually kind of creep into their children even, as they get older? And does that have an impact on older children actually figuring out where their talents lie?
I think, to be fair to parents out there, all of us really are products of our own life experiences. And for many decades now, I think it's true to say that most of us have come to the conclusion that academic grades have a huge part to play in one's social mobility and social status and earning power. So you can't really, I guess, fault parents completely for having those sorts of very entrenched beliefs about what matters for their children. Having said that, though, I think that parents are a key source of inspiration for their children, especially in their younger years. For example, how do parents send messages about success or failure? Do parents encourage their children to try new things, new ideas, experiment? How do parents provide information about possibilities later on in life beyond those that they have grown up with? And of course, here it's really difficult, of course, because, as I mentioned earlier, the workplace environment is changing very rapidly. And it's difficult, even at the best of times, for any of us to really keep track of what the changes are. And even if you can keep track now, who's to say what's going to happen 20 years later when your children, who are now 10 years old, are already in the workforce.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Sophia, I want to bring you back in here. And you mentioned that, play is a way to actually build real world skills. It's not just
Yep.
play, there's a lot more that goes into it. How are you injecting that into your programs at Kidztropic? Are there instances where you were surprised by the kids, by how they're able to figure things out themselves and pick up crucial skills?
Well, kids always surprise us. I mean, I felt that in the year that I've started this business, I have been learning more from the kids than the kids have learned from me. So one of the examples of how we try to do that at Kidztropic, we have started preschool learning journeys. And one of the learning journeys, we have the honor of partnering Singapore Kindness Movement. Remember Singa the Lion?
Yeah.
But the preschool format with the cubbies. So we have that. And what we have done is to turn the workshop fun. We incorporate elements such as pretend play supermarket. So instead of getting the kids to just pretend to buy and pay with Kidztropic currency, we kind of gamify it. We turn it into an objective. So the kids would need to help the lions, the cubbies, find kindness crystals. And in order to do that, they need to use magic words.
Oh,
so what
interesting.
are magic words? So these are what help to build a sense of kindness. So they learn thank you, you're welcome, and we ask them to please use these magic words as currency. So we found that was very effective in how the kids learn. And how I observe that is typically after the structured workshop, we just allow the kids to play and observe them and see how they are interacting with each other. They have taken all of that they have learned. So you think the kids are probably not responding, maybe they're not listening, but they have internalized all of that, and they are
Applied it to real life.
Yeah, pretending
Yeah.
play with each other. So you see them going like, "Excuse me," or think that there's one magic word being used and saying thank you.
That's
And,
great.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's one way we felt like you set it up in a pretend real world, and that's a way of being creative, of getting the message of what you want the kids to learn, delivering your learning
absolutely.
objectives.
Yeah, okay. I know that we're running out of time here, but I'm going to wrap up with Jason. So when it comes to building resilience and courage in our younger generation, especially to pursue something that they're really passionate about, how can that be nurtured from young?
Well, I guess sometimes it's fine to talk about having great career aspirations, but we have to recognize, of course, that for quite a number of students, financial barriers may very well stand in the way
Absolutely.
of them actually realizing those aspirations. So I think here's where financial assistance schemes come into play, as well as the provision of role models, people that they can look up to
Yes.
believe that those dreams are realizable, and even mentors. Because I think each of us sometimes needs that one person in life that gives strength to us and encourages us and gives us that sort of confidence to pursue our dreams.
Absolutely. All right. Coming off the back of PM Wong's statement, we've been discussing the importance of supporting diverse career aspirations and fostering creativity and resilience in our youth. Jason, Sophia, we appreciate your time and your insights on these critical issues.
Thank you.
We had a great time.
Thank you. We were speaking with Jason Tan, Associate Professor from the National Institute of Education's Policy, Curriculum and Leadership Department, as well as Sophia Ng, co-founder of Kidztropic Singapore. Keep it here on Money FM 89.3.
Money FM 89.3.